The Morningside Avenue Bridge rebuild was assigned to Toronto Zenith, but when it came time to demolish the old structure, they put Priestly Demolition on the job. The challenge? 570 feet in 6 spans, 2 of them over a recreational pathway and an ecologically sensitive river. 5,153 cubic yards of concrete to be removed. Oh, and keep the road open. The solution? Priestly Demolition's ability to work in close quarters and innovative strategies.
It's a 4-lane bridge. Traffic's been diverted to 2 lanes, so we're going to take these 2 lanes out, allow them to build the 2 new lanes, and then phase 2 will be the other half of the bridge once the new half gets built.
Step 1. Removing the decking for the span that is the most difficult, located about 100 feet above a river.
We just started removing the overhang, so we're using the one machine with the catch bin, the other machine with the hammer. So we'll go along, we'll take all the overhang off, and then we'll start the bridge deck. So that'll be all saw cutting and lifting, and obviously lots of protection for the slurry, for the environmental underneath, for the river. We can't let anything go down.
Once the deck and overhang for this first 100-foot span is complete, the preparation for removing the concrete girders begins, and it is a complex and delicate dance. A crane will be placed on either side, atop spans 1 and 3, perfectly synchronized to lift the girder while maintaining it level.
The outriggers for the crane stick too far in, so we got to put boards down to elevate the crane as he's going up and over. The road closure is going to open up at 5 a.m. and we're going to try to get these 4 girders out before then.
Platforms are laid down to support the massive machines and ramps to get them into position.
So we got 2 cranes on either end and we got to hook up at the same time. We got to make sure as we're bringing it up it doesn't wedge into the adjacent girder, so we're going to have to swing it out a bit and bring them up simultaneously.
Once we get the weight of it, we know we got an inch off the pier, we're just going to bring it over the fence and set it on the truck. Once it's set on the truck, before we unhook the crane, we'll put a few chains on it. Perfect. Let's rig her up and get going.
But lightning strikes throw a wrench into the plan. They wait for the storm to pass. Then it's hustle to make up the time. It's a high-tension scenario. One slip and 100,000 pounds of concrete crashes either into the river or worse, onto an active roadway. The system works. The first girder is carted down the road to create space, where it will be broken down to more manageable sizes and then sent off-site.
Let's get out the road, go get the next one on, but hopefully by the time we get that, bring the truck up here, we get this one out of the way.
3 girders to go, but the danger on each one is the same.
Coming up slowly, fellas. Nice and easy.
Finally, the last girder is across, and just in the nick of time.
South crane, keep swinging, buddy. Okay, hold it there. Both cranes cable down. Greg, that's pretty lined up, eh?
We had a great team tonight. Ryan was here, Armando, all the boys, solid crew. It worked out down to the wire, pushed her through, and we got everything out.
Really good night. Priestly hired a good team, Mahmoud and us pulling together. I mean, we got it done. And that's what it's about. Getting it done safely. As soon as we knew it was done safely, the first one came off well, and the rest just followed like sauce.
But there's no resting on their laurels. Span 1 is up next for removal.
We're starting to remove the remainder of span 1. So that's basically saw cutting the bridge deck into sections with a slab saw, and then removing it with an excavator, and then install the bracing as we go for the girders. They're 85 feet long, and we think they're about 75,000 pounds. So they're a little bit smaller girder than the ones we lifted out from span 2.
One crane does the heavy lifting this time, but it's a big one, 400 tons.
Now that we've got that out, we're removing the rest of span 1, as we talked about, and then we've started the high reach demolition, which is going to be used for spans 3, 4, and 5. There's 4 girders per span, and you can roughly remove one of the girders in a couple hours.
The system runs like clockwork, detaching each girder from the frame and lifting it out. 4 girders are removed without a hitch. Then it's time for the high reach to do its thing, dismantling spans 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the valley below.
Last day of phase 1. We finished up with the abutment work, and then the last of it was cleaning up all the concrete, and we're just in the midst of backfilling the abutment with the sand we excavated. Every bridge is a little bit different, so this one I think we got all the little tricks sorted out. We made a few things to help the job go a little better, and so when we come for phase 2, hopefully we can hit the ground running and hit it hard.
Almost a year later, and the second half of this job begins. A new bridge has replaced the old east side of Morningside Avenue. Now it's time to replace the west lanes.
We want to try and speed this up faster this time, so we're going to have 2 crews working, so we're going to have a day crew and a night crew.
Same plan of attack, except this time there's 5 girders per span, not 4.
We're able to see what we did last time and how we can make it more efficient, productive, and where we can iron out all the things to make it safer.
Again, the decking and overhang is removed from span 2, the trickiest span because it's over the river.
A lot of the stuff that we took from the first one is already set up to use for the second one. The sequencing and the equipment you need and how many guys, and so it's going to help us.
We had the weather working against us last time. We're fortunate that no one's calling for thunderstorms. Hopefully if all goes well, in 7 hours we'll be done.
Moving on to span 1, these are the shorter girders, only 85 feet, still weighing in at about 75,000 pounds. The larger single crane sets up and the balancing act begins, transferring each behemoth length of concrete to the road for processing.
We let her go out far enough so that when we swing, it's past the crane. 1 down, 4 to go.
The rest of the girders are extracted. At least the traffic is light for the overnight operation. And just like that, span 1 is history. The girders processed on site and the concrete hauled away.
It was a tough go to get started. The large crane took about 3 hours to set up. Knowing that we had to open up the road at 6 o'clock, we knew we'd have to have the girders out by 3. We did it. 2:30, we pulled the last girder out. It was a tough night, but nevertheless successful.
Over the next week, the rest of the bridge falls to the hammers of Priestly Demolition, and over 5,000 cubic yards of concrete is hauled away, and every inch of rebar recycled.
We came in a year ago and did phase 1. It took 8 weeks. Coming into the second phase of this job, the customer reached out and they really needed to expedite the schedule. And that's where Priestly shines. You know, we added a night shift and we're done here in 4 weeks.
The guys all gel together, right? We communicate. Everybody thinks alike, right? So you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, it was a good team, well coordinated with the 2 cranes, and was planned out very well, and we did a pretty good job.
And it's not just about knocking something down anymore. It's about being a one-stop shop for a customer. We're engineering, we're completely planning and executing this work, and having them call and know that they're going to get the best service from start to finish, and knowing that we can maybe meet or even exceed expectations when it comes to things like schedule and execution. That's why Priestly Demolition stands apart.